ahead and hit that button for future solutions now. Any clips, news, names, or information used in this video is for fair use commenting, criticism, educational, and fair use purposes. Viewer discretion is advised. The statements or comments in this video are alleged, and all accused offenders are innocent until proven guilty. Now let the scrutiny begin, and enjoy. Child Care Criminals and Despicable Daycares, Episode 3. Today, we will be discussing Alexander Tredway from Bright Beginnings of Jefferson in Jefferson, Georgia. Here is the picture of the sickening, shameful, accused sodomizer, Mr. Alexander Tredway. Take a nice long look at this disgusting individual.
Jefferson police say 18-year-old Alexander Tredway sodomized and molested 2 children, including a little girl.
Fox 5's Brian Hill spoke with a woman who knows one of those young victims.
Angry parents met with school leaders Wednesday night. They're upset over the school's response to the accusations against Alexander Tredway. The grandmother of a child who attends this school tells me that one of the victims is a 6-year-old.
It makes you want to beat the crap out of him, and it's hurtful. It's very hurtful for her and for the family.
This is the mugshot of 18-year-old Alexander Tredway, a now former teacher here at Bright Beginnings of Jefferson. Parents say they were blindsided to learn of his arrest on charges of child molestation and sodomy, of all places, on social media.
Own up to what happened and admit that they were probably in the wrong for letting him stay working
After the school was made aware of these disturbing accusations. In this Facebook post, the school says they were notified about this, quote, monster's alleged behavior on a Friday evening. However, they didn't inform Jefferson police until that following Monday. Their statement goes on to say that after a police investigation, Tredway was arrested and charged on Wednesday, January 12th, 5 days after the initial report.
I'm sick. I've lost a lot of sleep. I've cried. I've just been sick over the whole situation. I can't imagine this ever happening.
Wednesday evening, the school's owners met with all of these angry parents to address their concerns and figure out how to prevent this from happening again.
We're very devastated by this, and we're very heartbroken. But we definitely don't have anything to hide, and we want the truth to get out there.
The school's owner said Tredway's state background came back clear, and he had also worked at another daycare prior to employment with them.
It's more that these 2 children get the care and the support they need. And the predator gets what he deserves.
Even though the school's leaders are working to regain this community's trust, some people tell us it's too little, too late.
He hasn't been back, and he won't be back.
Tredway is currently being held in the Jackson County Jail. He's also charged with cruelty to children. In Jefferson, Brian Hill, Fox 5 News.
I have to be honest with you guys. This particular case disturbed my soul to the core. Just thinking about what those children experienced and what they will have to overcome, dealing with the mental ramifications of what this predator has put them through. Furthermore, to know that the child care center, who their parents are paying to protect them and watch them, went out of their way, it seems, to cover up or to hold up the integrity of the center or the name of the center or the reputation of the center, instead of caring first about those children and protecting those children. It even seems like they put that man's, who was being a predator to them, to the children, ahead of what was best for the children. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our first official Despicable Daycare. Bright Beginnings of Jefferson in Jefferson, Georgia. You are a despicable daycare. You did not protect those children, and everything you did was to protect yourself, that sinner, and that man. None of your actions, up until the point where that man was arrested, said that you put those children's safety first. And you're going to be exposed today. Okay. Now, Bright Beginnings of Jefferson, Georgia. Let's count the ways that you are a despicable daycare. First and foremost, you failed to remove the predator from your center. You allowed him to keep working until he was picked up by the police, even after you reported him. What sense that made? And if it made sense to who? That's ridiculous. Somebody told you one of your employees had been messing with their child, and you thought it was a good idea to bring that employee back. Please inform me as into how that was a logical decision. Because it wasn't. The first thing you should have did was remove that man from your center. Period. The second thing you should have done was report to authorities that day. You found out on a Friday. You reported on a Monday. Why? What did you need the weekend to do? For what? You should have reported it right away. So not only should you have reported it to CPS, the police department, child care licensing, but you should have reported to those parents. You decided that it was a prudent idea for those parents to discover what happened in your child care center via social media. Via social media, baby, you lucky I'm trying to keep it professional. I honestly feel as if the director and the owner should be held liable for failure to report abuse or neglect in their child care center. Because at this point, they have been informed that there is a predator on the premises. And they are still allowing that predator to come. And they're still allowing children to come to be exposed to that predator. Why have they not been held accountable as well? If I was a parent, any parents out there watching, I would sue them. If you can't go after them in criminal court, go after them in civil court. They need to be held liable for what they did not do to protect your child. Mr. Alexander Tredway, I am going to try my best to address you without using vulgar language, which I also desire. You feel me? Anyway, I don't know if you were touched as a child or abused as a child, but if you were, then you should know how it feels, and you shouldn't want to extend that to other children. These are kids. What you have done to them will leave lifelong scars. Me saying you belong under the jail or to drop the soap is so much less than what you deserve. So it's almost a waste of breath. I really hope you receive counseling. And I hope you never get out, because what I have learned about sexual predators, especially when it comes to children, there's no cure for you guys. It's an in-depth illness. It's an ailment that you can't get rid of. It's a scratch that no one can itch. And at the end of the day, the only thing that will satisfy everyone breathing on earth is for you to remain behind bars, so you can never have access to anyone's children. Because someone like you go to prison, you can get out when you're 99 and still be around somebody's playground trying to touch somebody's child. You put your decrepit body parts on and in children. That's like disgusting. Do you understand what you've done to those babies? The things you've done they will never forget. And the things that daycare center covered up is unforgettable as well. It really does no service for me to spend any more time addressing you, Mr. Tredway, because you a sick individual, and I can't give you the help you need. But I certainly hope you receive it in jail. Now on to Miss Paula Healy and whoever else on that daycare center with her. You don't practice what you preach. You're sitting here and you're saying one thing, but your actions are showing another. You say how you hope the kids get help and you only want the best for the children, but what you did was only best for the center. There's no excuse for you delaying reporting to the parents, to police, to CPS, or any other authority, child care licensing. There's no excuse other than you trying to cover your own bottom. Period. What you did was despicable. And to add insult to injury, you had a nerve to get on TV like you care about these children. We see what you care about. You need to shut up lying. We don't believe you. And you should be held accountable. Like I was really hoping that they sent you to jail too. But I understand they have to have a certain amount of evidence. But to me, baby, you tried and convicted already. No one deserves the type of mindset that you have and to leave their child with you. Nobody deserves that. You don't care. You're for self first. You're for your pockets, your image. You're caring for children. That stuff should come secondary and tertiary. Absolutely not primary. You a disgrace to all child care workers. You and Mr. Tredway. And Mr. Tredway has only made it so much harder for male figures to be in the child care center. People are already apprehensive to leave their children with males, although it's so many males that deserve a chance. There's so many good male figures out there. You and your minion have ruined it for so many good men. And it's a shame. It's shameful. It's hurtful. And it's quite disgusting. I need you to stop trying to pretend as if you care, because you don't. And your actions will always speak louder than your words. Another issue I would like to address with you, Miss Healy, and the director who is missing. We don't know who they are. I'm going to see if I can find them under child care licensing in Georgia so I can expose them as well. Anyway, you chose to give us excuses. We don't care if his background check came back clean. All that means is he's never been caught before. Not that he's never did anything. And we don't care if he worked anywhere else before. We care about him working under your management and what you chose to do when you found out what he did under your management. So all of this excuse making is quite irrelevant, and you could save that unuseful information for someone who cares, because we don't. His background coming back clean and him working for someone else before he worked for you means nothing to us. It never did, and it doesn't matter how many times you say it, it won't. You should have removed that man from that center right away and contacted everybody possible to protect those children. Please stop acting like you care when you don't. You are our first Despicable Daycare. Miss Paula Healy, the owner of Bright Beginnings in Jefferson and Jefferson, Georgia. Despicable Daycare. To report abuse or neglect, contact the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline at 1-800-4-A-CHILD or 1-800-422-4453. To report missing or exploited children, please contact the Children's Cyber Tip Line at 1-800-THE-LOST. If you suspect child abuse or neglect in the state of Texas, please contact the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services at 1-800-252-5400. To file a daycare abuse lawsuit in the state of Texas, please review the following information. Okay. Now, if you ever run across this situation, in which I pray that you do not, because the children do not deserve this, you do not deserve this personally. But I do want to make sure you are well prepared if this situation arises. The first thing you need to do is separate that predator from any children. If you hear about any allegations or you see anything on camera or there's any allegations going on, you need to absolutely make sure that that person is not coming into work, period. You separate them from the children immediately and make sure they don't have any contact with those children, anyone's child, immediately. The second thing you need to do is contact local authorities. That includes CPS, the police department, and your child care licensing agency. You need to contact all of those people. After that, you need to contact the parents via letter. You do not have to expose what child was touched or put any kind of personal information in regards to that child. However, at this point, your daycare is deemed unsafe for children to be in because you have a predator in your child care center. So it is very important. It is vital. It is pertinent that you report what is going on to those parents right away, whether it's in a meeting, whether it's in writing, no matter what type of creative way that you come up with to present that information to the parents. It needs to be done right away that day. You don't need to sleep on it for a weekend. You don't need to let any kind of time lapse. You are putting those children in danger every second that you have that child or those children in close proximity in an accused predator's presence. Period. Please follow those protocols to keep your child care center safe. This is Melanie with the Roundaway Training Consultants. I want to thank you for joining us on our third episode of Child Care Criminals and Despicable Daycares. And you have a great day.
Created using Powtoon.